I did,
We're
but then
about to
I
jump
just put it
back
back.
on.
We just jumped it back on.
Yeah. We're
Okay, so
having
how
a time,
about
Sean.
so is the gain awful now or
No,
okay? So
no,
now it's better.
sounds fine. Yes, you sound great. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! And of
Now
course,
we
my
just got to act like we meant to do that. That's just art of
I
recovery.
didn't mean to do that. Like I literally cannot figure out I can't even add it to Windows. Look at they're like back. Yep, we're back. That was
Are we back?
ridiculous. We are back.
Okay, all right.
So like is the gain horrible now? That's what I need to know about
No,
the mic. Okay.
no.
Perfect. Put your
You
video
sound
on
just
there
fine.
and see you.
I know. I don't know why cuz I just killed it to try to fix it. Hold on.
You have a no video sign up there.
I know. I'm fixing it. Hold on.
Are we
And we're back.
Yeah, we are back. We are back.
Do it live. We'll do it
Sorry,
live.
Sean. Yeah, fuck it. We'll do it live. That was not
That's
good.
right.
that was
I am so sick of these like learning curves with this stuff. So like we constantly are trying to do it, but I've been working and doing a lot of other stuff that's not figuring this stuff out. So it's been really unfortunate. All right. So I think that all right, now I got to find where the webcam input is and fix that again.
So can I continue the story of Boomer?
Yes.
So he gets out, right? And I said, wow, okay, fine. And then he texted me, hey man, want to reach out. Now we were not, listen, like I said, I would not sit down and have a beer with this guy or had a coffee. He's not my guy. Do I give him credit for some things? Okay. But the thing is this, I ain't talking to him. And then I didn't text him. Then I blocked. And then I had this foolish YouTube thing. And that guy said, he's in the chat. He's fucking blowing you up. He's doing this. I said, let that go. Then another thing, I let that go. And then I'm with this poor kid, Eldon. And I had another meltdown, right? I said, what the Christ you want with me, right? We were never that team. Trust me.
Yeah, and you weren't looking to scrap it out. You just wondering why he's popping up like with that energy, right?
You're not going to get me, brother. I used to play that game. I know. So what do we hear now? I could go to Tully and give Karen up. I said, see, there it is. You want to know why it goes to right there? You think that thought all of a sudden appeared? No, dude.
Right.
I had 60 days to think about this. Now, I don't have any evidence, but I'll tell you, I'm an old dog in this game. No one played the game better than me. And like I said, so that was the story. I believe he said that. I believe he said that live.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, Nikki's kind of backdoor now because he's not the face of Court TV.
That's on hold right now, right? Until I guess the trial.
I thought they went on tonight, or am I crazy? I thought they went on tonight.
I don't know.
And Aiden's back with Bill and Karen and Kelly and everyone else because something happened.
Yeah.
Persona non grata.
Do you think it's a case of like cheaper to keep her? Like, if we push this guy away, he's gonna, flip the table?
Like I said, I heard it. You just don't make that stuff up. You don't. That came from some place. That didn't come out of his mind like he had an epiphany.
Yeah. So you think maybe it wasn't even his thought? It could have been a discussion he had with somebody else, possibly.
Well, I mean, obviously.
Like had a round table. Yeah.
Obviously. I mean, I know how the game is played.
Absolutely. Of course.
Come on.
They're war gaming.
Yeah. I mean, listen, let it cool down. Make sure no one else goes to jail. And if they do, you have a suspect.
And that's one of my issues with this whole deal with those guys is like, look, let's just take whether I believe she's innocent, whether I believe she's guilty off the table. Just take that off the table. Either way, why are you operating like this? Because it just makes me think, if I think nothing, like if I just clear my brain, and I'm good at that, I have very few thoughts most of the time, so it's okay. And I think to myself, from this default setting, right? What possibly could that mean? And it doesn't look good. It looks very negative and makes me think, that's guilty behavior. Like, why else would you be doing this? I don't know. It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
It's to coin the phrase of my buddy Brian. It's sus.
Right.
We got to suss this out, baby. We got to suss it out.
That's right. Yeah,
Well,
it looks hinky.
I had like a question, I guess, about the so you would release some signal messages, I think, right? And I think it was more to prove that yes, you did actually talk to Karen Reed, which I think is, for this whole thing, everybody else's personal information and like, sort of like the truth is the truth, right? And I think there's like sort of the public face of like what Free Karen Reed is doing, and then there's a lot of stuff you got to remember. For the first almost year, Karen Reed and Aiden Carney were both lying about talking to each other until it came out to the point where they had to admit it, right? So like when she says that he's become a liability, that's language that what do you think that means?
Well, I mean, come on. So the way I see it was, I'm trying to think now because there was a reason why in March of 2024, because listen, I was out in the curb big time. I was big time out in the curb until I was needed, until I needed, to give a lead, call Alan, lead. And when I didn't make it known, why didn't you call my attorneys? Listen, I got it all. Is this a cleansing situation? No. What it was when I did the crazy Sean meltdown, right? And listen, I've said it before. Something happened 20 minutes before I pushed the go button on StreamYard. And I said, Mother, I'll tell you what it was, right? When I was doing things to finally put Kevin to bed, and like I said, it happens, all right? I wouldn't know where Pensacola is if it had landed on me. But listen, shit happens. I get it. He was convinced. I said, Kevin, I'm the guy, right? I should know. I'm the guy. I said, but tell me, who was I with? Was I with Karen? He said, I'm not going to tell you. And now it turns out that it's this girl. It's this girl's mother. I don't even know her. So I had the meltdown. All right, I went off, right? I was little. I said, oh, where's my emoji, right? Well, he gets the audience, which is fine. He was persona non grata, and then he wasn't. And I started watching him. You see, he put it out there. He said, he was watching me. I'm watching your text, Aiden. I said, do we really have to do this again? Again, do you have to do this? Well, I said, okay, listen, I want to make believe I'm a journalist because you're journalism Jesus, right? Or whatever the hell he called himself.
Yeah.
I said, Aiden, I need a comment. Is this how you guys do it? He said, what do you mean? I said, I want a comment. So instead of giving the screenshot of the text, right, that would ultimately prove, I said, can you comment on this? And it was like, I've been through the ringer. It's all because of him. He blew this up on me. I can't take this liability. It's because of Lindsay. They took my phone that had 2 years worth of stuff on it, right? I said, Aiden, can you, I want to be like Chris Wallace. Can you give me a comment? That's what you do, Aiden, right? You're journalism Jesus, right? And getting a freaking cramp in my leg. Anyways, so he says, you think I'm a risk? I says, no, but Karen did. He goes, I'll send it to you.
Right, but like, what do you mean by a risk? So,
he said that to me.
Right, I know that, but what does she mean by risk? Did she think that he was gonna go to her house and physically harm her?
Well, no.
Okay.
No.
I didn't think so either. I just,
The thing with the phones, all because of this thing that if he had listened to, what's his name, Tim Bradle, if he listened, he didn't go there, well, it wouldn't be in this jam. It's not about Karen Reed. She was saying,
but what is she worried about then? So they get her phones, right? Like, what is she? What's on there?
On her head, right? I asked her a question that prompted this thing, right? And I was surprised to even get an answer. She said what she said, right? He put it out there, right? Or I did, and he questioned me, and he said, that's not what she would say. That's more something like you would say. I said, Aiden, you're going to test me now? Are you going to test me? I said, go back and ask your boss. I said manager, and tell me what she wants you to do.
And what do you mean by manager? Who do you mean by that?
He was saying I have a manager now, right? He knows what I meant. I meant go back to talk to Karen because it's her text. I said, if you don't believe me, if you don't believe me, Aiden, because he said, show me the receipt. You have the screenshot? I said, of course I did. What do you think? I fell off the turnip truck like fucking last night. Are you out of your mind? This is the thing. The audacity this little punk has, right? To say to me, I've done this job. He was given everything. He didn't know what to handle it. You're gonna ask me, you're gonna say to me, show me the receipt, show me the screenshot. I said, I ain't showing you shit. Get a comment. I want a comment before I go in for the kill. Is that what you want me to do? That's how you journalists do it? Because I got the story. I'm giving you time. You make one more statement about me on Twitter, it's over with. You confused my patience as weakness. So, sure enough, he goes down, doubles down. I said, that's it. I said, Aiden, buddy, you had your chance. Oh, Sean divided. No, he called for it. You think Karen really wants that out there?
Well, I mean, but that's sort of what I'm getting at here, though.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, and I'm sure that most of the people watching know who you are. You're kind of you're a pretty attention grabbing figure, right? Like most people know who Sean the Golf is. But just in case anybody doesn't, right? You were DEA for how many years?
I was a cop for 7 years. DEA 28. That's 35 years total.
So 28 years. So yeah, and when you were a cop, what did you do? Were you patrol detective? Yeah, beat cop. All right. So you did a little bit of street time, right? And then
last 3 years was CSI. That's why I was in there. Crime scene investigation.
CSI. And what year was that approximately?
That was went over to Arlington. That was 80, 84, 85, 86.
Oh, I wasn't even born yet, Sean. 86.
Oh, come on. You got to drop that in there.
No, that's cool. That must have been a fun time for policing, right? That's when things were a little bit more, you didn't have to worry about what you got to worry about now, right?
I was fascinated with that type of job. The Jeffrey McDonough case, search it out. They talk about protecting crime scenes. They protected that crime scene down in Fort Bragg. I don't know what they call it now. The woke system woke it up. 9 years. 9. Think about this. They protected that crime scene. Jeffrey McDonough killed his wife and 3 kids. He said it was a Charlie Manson thing, right? It was a lie. 9 years, they sealed that thing up. And then when the DNA part came out, they convicted him. 9 years. I was fascinated.
So they secured the crime scene for 9 years?
No one in, no one out.
Where was the crime
scene? Preserved it. Wow.
Fort Bragg.
Was it a home or was it out in public or?
It was
personal quarters.
He was a doctor. Yeah. Jeffrey McDonough. Listen,
no, but I'm saying the crime scene itself. Like, what was the setting?
Well, he killed. They found his wife. He.
Was it? I'm saying, was it their home or was it?
Yeah, like the personal PQs. It'd be the housing, right? On base housing.
People got on base. I wasn't a military guy, but the bottom line.
Okay, so I mean, and that's something that, like, I think it's easier to secure a crime scene if it's a home or like an enclosed space, private, a home than. Yeah,
I just 9 years.
I understand that people have very strong feelings about the Karen Reed, police investigation, but I feel like a lot of people watch CSI, whereas you worked CSA, right? Like, there's no such thing as like a perfect crime scene. And I mean, I think to like when they find bodies in the woods, right? And it's down to like skeletal remains. Like the body has been there for a long time, wherever it is, and woods, oil field, wherever. And they can still solve the murder even though the scene has been probably traipsed over for years, months, whatever it is. So I think that, like, honestly, as far as the crime scene goes in Karen Reed, I don't think it's that unusual. I mean, even hit and run accidents, sometimes it takes them a long time to find the perpetrator in that, right? Because they just take off and you got to find a needle in a haystack based on the whatever you have, right?
There are industry standards. Carl Dougal will tell you, he's a detective.
So I speak to Carl, and he's he's made detective at this point. He's a level-headed, smart, really capable guy. And I mean, even he will tell you though, like, there's variables that you just can't control. I mean, it was the middle of a blizzard, right? Yeah. So I mean,
get it.
And just like even the whole like Stop and Shop bag controversy, right? I was looking at that raid the other day. They were trying to say it was the state troopers. It wasn't. The guy ended up living next door or something. But they're taking evidence out in bags. They were brown paper bags.
Yeah, but the evidence bags.
Okay, so are you taking it to a lab to get a culture?
No, the thing is that those bags that the troopers had, or the can, when you take a bag from a neighbor, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not sterile like the bags that we had in
Right.
CSI.
So, but I mean, it's for crime. No, first of all, CSI bags, I've checked on this with numerous people. They're not sterile. They're not. They don't have to be sterile because you're not doing lab work, right? Like, I mean, you're just bagging up evidence.
Yeah, but you know some there's industry standards that were definitely violated in this case. Remember, Kate, this was not the murder of me or Boomer. This was the murder of a Boston police officer.
Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, murder is murder, and it's all the same. And I don't want to. I mean, I don't think he doesn't get any more or less treatment just because of his station in this case, right? But you don't though. You really don't. Like every murder, it's a human life is a human life. So it's not like, oh, I was gonna half-ass this, but it's a cop, so now I'm gonna double-ass it, right? That's not how that works. It's just not, and it shouldn't be.
It's actually done the job, and I'm not gonna have any disrespect here, but that's exactly how it's done. Exactly.
Well, I would not say that's I would say that's an inequitable standard. Then I do not. I mean, I do not. I can certainly ask, I suppose, other state troopers that I know, but I don't. What does it change? He wasn't on duty.
It doesn't matter. I'm telling you. Trust me on this, especially in Boston. I'm telling you. Yeah, I've done this job, Kate. Right. Mm-hmm. This is exactly how
I've spoken to a lot of people who have, done this job, to be fair. So, I mean, but that's just not the impression that I get all the time. And I don't think that would be equitable, right? I mean,
never equitable. Trust me. But when you have
but Free Karen Reed is claiming to, push back and rail against a system that's inequitable. And you're telling me that in this case, it somehow it didn't meet your standards for how inequitable it is. Like he didn't get preferential treatment enough because he was a police officer. Is that the grievance? Or
it's not even a case of that. I'm telling you right now, I've been to many funerals of cops from all over the place, not mass.
Right, funerals. That's after they're dead.
The problem is, here's the thing, right? I've talked to cops, real cops that wanted. Yeah, what the hell is that? Is that a dog?
I think that was a dog. Yeah, I hope that was a dog.
He's going to be under my feet the whole time. Yes.
My dog is over there. I said, "Oh, geez, no, Kate, listen, we can spend the whole night about this. I'm the only one in this room right now. Maybe Kyle's out there, right? I'd love to talk to Kyle. Right? I love to. He knows what I'm talking about. That was his best friend. He cannot agree that was everything was done possible by his best friend.
I don't want to speak for anyone, but I've obviously spoken to a lot of people. The general sentiment that I get is that they did what they could with what they had.
I call bullshit on that. They did what they could, not for John. And I'm sorry. I've done the job. No one else in this room has done the job except Kyle.
I do have a question for you though. When just regarding the bags for collection, right, or even the cups. Okay,
right.
If you were taking, say, a culture, that would be one thing. But if we're just taking a blood sample for specific DNA, and let's just say that there was, I mean, what were they saying, like ham juice or something in the bag? I'm pretty sure when they checked for DNA, like apart from a culture, that they would get the human DNA strand, they'd be able to tell whose blood it was regardless. So I think that part of the argument, I think, is kind of moot. The rest of it, I mean, that's open for debate. And I don't have an interest in that, but I think there might be, would you agree there's a difference between collecting for a culture versus a blood sample for DNA? Is there any difference?
Boomer, all I'm saying is this. Okay, in any walk of life, business, there are set, tried and industry standards. They never deviate. They get more strict or they're more evolved. Okay? I'm telling you this. Right? Things were purposely not done. And I want to get to the bottom of it. It's too bad.
You believe it's purposely? Okay.
Purposely.
I didn't know you believed that it was purposely. I didn't know that was your take. Okay.
Kevin, I don't know if it's true. I don't have any reason not. Kevin posed a question that said this came from Kyle, and this was last night. I said, sure. I said, finally, I wish The hell, we could have done this before. Carl.
Yeah, but I think you understand why it would be difficult for Carl.
Yeah,
I mean, you
wanna
leveled
ask-
some very serious accusations against
Very good,
Carl
very
without
good,
sufficient
very good,
evidence at
very
all,
good.
right?
No, that's not true. That's not true. Let me tell you something. Circumstantial evidence, right, have put many people in jail, Kate.
Right, but a
You-
rumor, Sean, respectfully, a
No, I'm
rumor
not-
is not
no,
circumstantial evidence.
no,
Saying I
no,
heard from somebody who
no,
claims
that's
to
not
have
it.
heard from somebody that this was
All right,
this
all right.
car was fixed is not. That's
You
not
stop.
circumstantial
You
evidence.
stop.
That
Stop.
I mean, you're a cop. You know that would not even make it to probable cause standard. You know, you're not even getting anything directly from the source. There's nothing concrete.
What about that?
But I'm only really going to hit you on this part, Sean, because it directly affects the O'Keefe family as well as John's friends, who again were not present at 34 Fairview that night, had absolutely nothing to do the next morning over in our morning. And I have gotten to know Carl Dugal, I would like to think, pretty well. And I know that he is a good person. I know that he loved John very much. I know that he's a level-headed, reasonable guy. I know that he's been respectful. You know, the only grievance that people have against him is he asked Karen at a press conference once, why did you admit to killing him if you didn't do it, right? And that is a fair question for someone who is mourning their friend. Carl's a good guy.
Listen, I have absolutely no qualms with that, but let's put it like this. What you just said, you're right. Based on that one statement, you're right. But I'm going to tell you right now, when I went down to these auto body, listen, I live in Naples. Most capita of millionaires live here. And I went down to the most prestigious auto body shops. I showed them the video. And said, that tire moved that much, right? I said, well, let's back out, right? Kate, I did my homework on this, okay? And I don't care, but I'm going to tell you right now, when they saw that tire jut forward, because you got to look at it, it wasn't done completely in a straight line.
Okay, but her own experts from ARCA, the ones that the FBI hired, that everybody was really excited about, they stated on the stand, Sean, that would not be sufficient force to break that taillight.
This is what I would say, Kate. You're going to let me speak.
We both talk a lot. It's going to happen. If you talk over me, I get it too.
Okay, I'll stop. Here's the thing. When that tire moved that way, see, who was it on the stand? He said, I didn't see that move. The judge didn't see it move. We knew the tire moved, right? The auto body shop said it could be a little crease, okay, little crease. Now you add a little bit more to the statement, right? Now you add a little more. All right, I can't tell you, all right, all the people that told that John O'Keefe Jr., I guess it is, you corrected me, right? Jr., right? Mr. O'Keefe, right? I didn't make this up. Are they setting me up? Maybe they are. I don't know. But I can tell you right now, when you add the next layer, that Mr. O'Keefe, right, went to his closest friends, and the wife of one of them tells me, from the lips of John O'Keefe to my husband's ears, he said that car was damaged. Now, one more thing. No, let me finish. Mm-hmm. Murder of a Boston cop. Carl Dugal. Why did it take 6 days? Count them, Carl. 6 days for Mikey Proctor and his little sidekick to come back to the house and then decide to check the garage for any damage and then check the traverse. Why do you think, why didn't John O'Keefe, your buddy, merit immediate attention?
Well, I think that was explained somewhat due to the weather conditions, right? And again, you're saying, but Sean, I just want to I heard this right, and I just want to make sure. So you were told by somebody that Mr. O'Keefe told their husband. I mean, that's literally third-hand information. I have, and Sean, what I want you to understand though is that I have first-hand information that he never said that. Not somebody told me from Mr. O'Keefe himself that he never said that. And there's nothing else to substantiate that, Sean. There's no tow receipt. There's no, evidence of the car being brought anywhere. There's no service order. There's nothing. And you're telling me that pretty much what you're laying on here for this story about the car getting fixed is third-hand information. And I'm telling you that I have first-hand information in the negative. So, like, you have to have something solid because what you're doing, right? What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong?
What if you're wrong?
Well, if I'm wrong, then I haven't hurt anyone, right? I haven't put that horrible stigma on this man's friend
Right.
and father. If I'm
Right.
wrong, then I would admit afterwards I'm wrong. But you, again, you don't have a tow receipt. You don't have video evidence of it going anywhere. You don't have a service order. You don't even have any first-hand information. You have third-hand information. And
Right.
I don't have any video evidence. I mean, because you can't really prove a negative. But what I do have is first-hand information that Mr. O'Keefe never said that.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay. So let's hypothetically say something here. Hypothetically, all right? Do you really believe, Kate? You're intelligent. I'll give you that. That you're going to frame an innocent one. Let's just hypothetically. You think they're going to leave a trail? Come on,
Well,
Kate.
yeah,
give
I
me-
mean
give me-
that's usually how people are caught, right? I mean, you were in the DEA,
You're
right?
not-
So
you're
you
not-
understand conspiracy. I would assume the mechanics of it enough,
I
because
actually
most
taught it, yes,
most
I
drug
taught-
trafficking is conspiracy related, right?
Oh, it's the easiest it's the easiest to prove. I taught it for 7 years in the New England Field Division. That was my baby conspiracy. But hold on. Do you actually think that they're going to have receipts when they're trying to cover up? No, listen, I'm here. I'm willing to answer your questions. I'm just telling you. Do you think, hypothetically, I'll give you this, hypothetically, Kate, you really think Mr. O'Keefe would actually tell you? Seriously. But
I think I wouldn't even say I know that he wants justice for his son. And I know
Me too.
that he so we can agree on that. He wants justice for his son. And I know
right.
that he would not be complicit in hiding information, let alone actively hiding information that would further the goal of getting justice for his son. Because I know 110% that is what he wants, as well as that is what his wife wants and his grandchildren want, and his all of John's family and his friends too. That's what they want. He was a really loved guy. That's one thing that after, and again, I try to take things from all angles. That's why I'm willing to talk to you. I've talked to other Free Karen Read people. I've talked to, almost everybody involved in this case, right? At this point, because I like to look at things from all angles.
Okay.
And so so I know after looking at this from all angles, though, that John was a very loved person, and that all of the people who loved him are very invested in him being memorialized, respected, and having justice. So no, if John O'Keefe Jr. was aware of this information, then I don't think I would be the first person that he tells. But he would have told the police or anyone else that needs to know that. And certainly when I asked directly, I do not believe that he would lie. I do not know him to be a liar. So no, I don't know who is claiming, but I mean, again, you're talking about third-hand information, Sean.
Right.
And I think I gave you this example earlier. I could say that during one of our phone conversations that you said that Karen Read admitted to murder on a Zoom call with 5 people. And that would be a lie, right? Because Karen Read never did that. And you never told me that. But I'm handing this off as third-hand information to somebody else. If they run with that, harms your reputation. It harms Karen. And it's not accurate. It's not fair. So
right.
I mean that's what you're doing when you're saying somebody told me that somebody told me that that somebody told them that this is what happened. It's not sufficient. And I mean, honestly, most of the time, the reason that you know about conspiracy and you taught class, that was your wheelhouse, right? Is because conspiracies often fall apart. And what I would point to is how much information is coming out about the inner workings of what's happening with Aiden and Karen, right? It's been about a year and a half since all this started. And I know that I personally know a shit ton of the inner workings. I've seen group messages. I've seen texts. I understand about the rolling rally. I understand who told Aiden to run Jen McCabe's plates. I know about all this stuff, right? Because that's how conspiracies unravel, right?
But show me what you got. I'll show you what I have. You show me what you got. Show me.
What in particular would you like to see, Sean?
Everything.
Okay.
Everything. Well, let me get back to one more thing. I didn't make up that Mary Beth Fazoli was given the keys to John Jr.'s pool house. I didn't know that. I don't know if Mary Beth Fazoli fell on me, I wouldn't know who she was.
Okay, but
Someone
I
else.
mean, again, like, so, but
Let me
what bearing does it have on anything that Mary Beth
I'm
had
trying to
keys
get
to the
that.
pool house?
I'm not
Mary Beth was a girlfriend of John's. I mean,
right.
again, like, who told you that? Was it Karen?
No, not at all. Not at
Okay.
all. Not at all. Hold on. Right? There were specific things. I know Mary Beth knows that she knows that I know what I'm talking about. And no one knew that. No
Okay,
one.
but what bearing does that have on? I
Let me
mean, how
finish.
is that pertinent at all?
Let me finish.
Okay.
Right? She and listen, Carl. Come on, Carl. You know Mary Beth Frizzoli too, right? Someone very close to Mary Beth Frizzoli, some distant cousin or whatever, right? She confided in, and she said, "I feel so bad." Listen,
Again,
if
you're going into third hand information here. This is not
I'm
something that
going
came
to
from Mary Beth.
circumstantial, all right. So when the
It's not
picture of
circumstantial evidence is not. I mean, this would not be admissible in court. I think you know that, Sean, right?
really,
Because you
really,
have it wouldn't. It would be hearsay, right? And you like this person that's telling you what a distant cousin of Mary Beth's told them. That's hearsay. You would need
so
Mary Beth to come in to testify what she said, and you would
right,
need the cousin to come and testify to what she
right,
said. But
right.
you're not even there. You're
Hold
three
on.
ways over here, so it wouldn't
So
even be admissible in court.
Hank Brennan, seeing what I put out, the picture. Well, you know that came from the Commonwealth, right? I mean, Kate, you know that, right? Came from the Commonwealth
What picture are you talking about?
of Mr. O'Keefe at the rear of the Traverse. You know that's a clip of a video.
Well,
You
that's
know,
because okay, so the Commonwealth went in and got all the video, right? And
right?
then
And
they have to. Well, listen, Sean. This is so they have to give all of the video over to Karen,
right,
and then Karen
right,
gets to select what she gives
right.
to you and other people, and she gets to attach the
I didn't give you
narrative
that.
to it.
I didn't give you that. That wasn't given to me. That was in the Natalie files.
Right.
I
So it was
just, I
given. It was given. So it came from Karen, though.
well, a lot of the stuff came from
Yeah,
Karen.
right. All of it did because you wouldn't get it from anywhere else. The Commonwealth is not releasing
So,
it,
so
so
if
it
I'm
because it was in discovery. So it all came from. My
yeah,
point is that at that point, like right from the jump, Karen has editorial control, if you will,
right,
over what
right. Oh,
information is
yeah.
going out, and that's probably again. Would you want a criminal defendant in one of your cases, Sean, when you're doing your investigation? Would you want to get all of your information just from them, or would that be
It's
problematic?
not. It's not. But here's the thing: if I was a guy like Kyle Dougal, right, like a detective, a real badge-carrying detective, or like Hank Brennan now, I don't know if he uses the people in Norfolk County CPAC. If I saw, if I was Hank Brennan, saw this, right, and he sees a specific topic made, I would want to interview, if I really was looking for justice, I would want to interview Mary Beth Frizzoli and say, is this true or not? Why haven't they?
What was Mary Beth Frizzoli there that day?
Hey, it's a lead. No one wants
But
to
I
go for
mean,
the
a lead.
lead.
And again, like I'm not trying to push back too hard or anything, but a lead for what?
Well, a lead that some wacky guy in Naples put out on the whole world to see, and no one picked up on it.
You know,
Maybe
but
they did. I don't know.
what's the? I'm just trying to figure out how. So Mary Beth Frizzoli was not present at the time of John's death. Was she there the next day?
Don't talk about that. Talk about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that Mr. O'Keefe, right, wore his heart out to her. And you know something?
But
Prove I'm
you're
wrong.
not getting that from. I mean, you're not getting that, and they don't have to because they can go right to
Real
Mr. O'Keefe who says no, I didn't say
That's
that.
right. He
So
says that to you. He says that to you. He was on the witness list for a reason, Kate. What's his reason for that?
why didn't they
Why
call him then?
why did they call only 6 witnesses? Kate, this is a joke. Seriously. If you're really waving the flag on that trial, 68 witnesses for the Commonwealth versus 6 witnesses for a woman who's facing life. It's a joke. You're talking about we're on the joke, Yuri?
What do
That
you
was a
mean?
joke.
It's a joke as far as you don't feel like the defense put on a sufficient case, or you don't feel like the. I
Oh
mean,
no, I felt like they did exactly what they should have done. They kept it streamlined to the charges. They didn't have to. Lally didn't have to bring in Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, Colin, right?
I
This
agree with you there. I think it was extraneous. I think
they
that they
got
really did.
they
Yeah.
Hmm.
Did they charge Brian Albert with nefarious activities? Then why the Christ is he on the stand? He did nothing for that case. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. Brian, stop it, brother. Come on, stop it. But getting back, of course, Alan Jackson put on 6 witnesses because his defendant was charged with a hit and run. Real quick, I know we're off the topic, right? But real quick, why do you think Boomer, listen to me, $500,000 was expended just for the crash daddies to take the stand? Why? Why, Kate? Why?
Where did you get that number from?
You show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Well, what is it?
Okay.
If you want me to show you sources or information, I can do so. But I'm, what is it? No, I'm serious. Like, what do you want to see?
Okay, let's face it. Let's say they spent $5 to get PhDs on the stand. I don't give a shit what they pay them. I'm telling you right now, $500,000. Look, go into that business.
I'm not disputing it. I'm simply saying, like, where did you get that number from?
I called the representative for that company. I said, how much would you charge a client? Listen, no one played undercover better. I love playing undercover, right? They said, well, it depends. Hours, it depends what we can get. But you're talking a minimum $300,000. I said, really? 300? I said, let's make believe it was 100. It doesn't matter what it was. Why did Josh Levy send 2 guys that had nothing to do with the case to back Karen Reed?
That's a good question.
That is an excellent question.
Listen.
No, that is a good question.
I agree with it. That same question. Yeah.
Hey, you have heard this, Kate. I know you have. Please, Kate, you're a smart woman. Can't be the first time you have heard this information. I've been waving the fucking flag forever. Why would Josh Levy, I'm telling you right now, take the time out to go that far? You said the grand jury was nothing. Okay. But it became something when 3,074 pages were handed over. And it became even more of an issue when the crash daddies came on the stand.
Well, I think, obviously it wasn't that much of an issue because by the defense's account, at least 9 people found her to be responsible for John O'Keefe's death before the deliberation ceased. Right. And, so, I don't know. I think there's a lot of questions about the federal investigation. What we do know, though, is there's been no indictments. There's been no targets. True. Anyone that's been speculated as a target, with the exception of Michael Morrissey, of course. So, but, Brian Higgins, Michael Proctor.
Michael Morrissey's a target, right? You know that.
Well, then I think that they would probably come out and say that when asked, but instead their statement was that they didn't have a target at all.
Ted Daniels was given the FBI and the Department of Justice has a leak program, right? Ted Daniels got that leak. You think
I do not believe that he got it leaked from the federal government. I do believe that he got it. The only thing that they got was actually entered into discovery in the Karen Reed state case. So I believe that Karen Reed or her team leaked it to Ted Daniel or perhaps someone that it was provided to. Because it didn't get into his possession until it was in discovery in court, which means that the prosecution got it. They handed it over to defense and. Yeah.
No. That was never in discovery.
No, it is. I could pull it up right now and show you, Sean. It was absolutely in discovery. It was the letters. The letters were Ted Daniels' story. That's all he was able to get were the letters between the Norfolk County DA's office and the DOJ, and he got that because they were entered into discovery. That's how it became. So it absolutely is.
Reading them myself in discovery.
It's in discovery. Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay. Listen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. To me, it means nothing. Yeah. Really, to me, in the overall scheme, it means nothing. But those crash daddies mean something.
Okay, but it goes both ways though, because first of all, they did say that Karen's taillight could not have been broken by hitting John's car. That was something that was specifically her experts, the crash daddies,
not the gaping hole. not the gaping hole. Come on now, Katie.
Well, they
Come
didn't.
on.
They didn't address that, so that really isn't
It was a
something that
crack.
one
It
way
was
or
a
the other.
crack.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, either way. I mean, do you see how that could be problematic though? Like, it's an issue where there's taillight pieces found around the body, and you just happen to have a cracked taillight that she acknowledges that she had this cracked taillight, early in the morning before the police ever got near her car. So it doesn't look great when, there's questions as to whether or not you hit
I don't
someone
remember
and
that.
broke
I
your
don't actually
taillight.
remember that.
And your answer is, well, yeah, I broke my taillight, but not that much, right? Like, that's a little concerning.
Terry Roberts and Jen McCabe said it was a crack. A crack.
That is not accurate, and I have spoken to.
Was officer.
I have spoken to both of them together independently. I've heard the story a million times over. It's never changed. It's never wavered. As I understand it, Karen has told other people that there were pieces missing, that at one point they were worried because the wires were exposed, and they thought they were going to have an electrical issue. I mean, these are in recorded interviews, though, Sean.
Who took those out? How did that tail? I'm going to ask you another little question, Boomer. Right, you're like the impartial. You're like Sweden here, right?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
In this, okay?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Think about it.
Yeah.
We know. I got it. The video shows it, right? I got the stills. We know the side, right? The side, right? That was illuminated when she pulled out at 508. I put this out to 5 body shops, and the guy goes, "Well, Sean, you're saying to me that car right there at 508 is that picture right there with the big gaping hole that has no wires, furthermore has no LEDs, and you're saying the cops are saying that car at 508 is making those lights shine? It's impossible."
So, I mean, it's not, because there's glass that's sort of over the LEDs. So it's not. But I mean, there's no disputing that. And again, like, Karen herself said that the wires were exposed and that they were worried about having an electrical problem driving back to Dighton. So, I mean, that again is.
Who took the wires out? Mr. Reed?
Well, it wasn't the police. I'm not saying that they took any wires out. I'm saying that it was so broken that there was wiring exposed. And again, I'm not saying that. Karen was the one who said that.
Was it Officer Barrows that took the wires out? Because he said it was a crack.
Well,
But
but I
that's
mean,
assuming
that's
the
what
wires were,
Karen. I'm
again,
just going off of
yeah.
what Karen said. I'm literally
That's
going
assuming
off of.
that which
I want to
Right.
go on. Cop said. That kid said, no, that taillight had a crack. It was not damaged. Now listen, he's going to come out and tell a different story this time. Okay. And like I said, I'm just saying, now that Mikey's not going to be around, we know that, right? And I have to say, listen, the fact, and I told Aiden and company, I have been banged like you're right, Kate, right? Boomer, I just watch you. I like you. The only people that came back at me hard was my side, not your side. Oh no. Listen. Oh, Rex, WBZ. I can't, since we're here in social media land, I cannot confirm it. Of course you can't. You know who confirmed it for me? The silence. I did my homework, but God forbid I put it out before Aiden, right?
Oh, no, yeah. No,
I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I think she picked a really shitty person to work with this. Yeah.
All right. Listen, Rogue didn't hit me. Kevin, Sean, how could you ever bring so much damage to Mike Proctor's family? I didn't hear that this time. So listen, I don't want an answer. All I know is the guy that gave me Enrique Delgado gave me that.
You're talking about Michael Proctor's termination, right? That's what you're talking about.
It's been done a while. I think
So
Okay.
I did actually, just so you know, Sean, and I think, like, let's be candid here. I think
Okay.
it's sort of arguing they're going to make an example out of Michael Proctor. His text messages definitely put a black eye. I don't agree with it, but I think that, termination is probably imminent. As I understand, it's not official at this point. So I mean,
All right. Thank you.
whatever. Right, but like, again, I will know more when his IA is still open, I guess is my point, because
Got it.
after all that controversy, I went back and I tried to request the IA again. I got Fanning's very early on because they closed his out quickly. Then they closed out Buchanan's. Then they closed out Tully's. Now we're just waiting on Proctor's. But every other IA that I've seen, it's not.
Are you sure?
Am I sure?
Yeah. You sure they closed Tully's out?
I have it in my possession. Yeah, they don't release them until they're closed.
How would you get that, Kate? I know you did.
A public records request.
A FOIA?
Well, I mean, that would, FOIAs are usually federal. That's the Freedom of Information Act. As far as state and local records, they're usually just records requests pursuant to the Massachusetts general law for open records. But yeah, I can absolutely, and I have receipts for that because it's a very easily documented process.
Right.
The way that you do it through the Massachusetts State Police. So every single IA, the first thing I did was I put a blanket request in for all of them, and they took a little bit. I pushed them on it. They sent me back Fanning's. That was the only one that closed. And then intermittently, I would just keep doing it. So I've gotten Buchanan's now, and I've gotten Tully's. The only one that I can't get is Proctor's because his is still open. But my point is, with all of these internal investigations, they're not talking about corruption, cover up, planting evidence, anything like that. It all revolves around the text messages.
That's right. And listen, I put out a very general statement. I can confirm Michael Proctor has been terminated by the Massachusetts State Police. I didn't say it was because of Uncle Joe, or it was very, very confident. That's it. Okay. The fact that Rogie Rogue didn't take my head off, but my good fucking buddy Aiden did, and that beat. What's this guy? Bacon, lettuce, and tomato. BLT. What is he?
Oh yeah.
He showed,
I can't remember the name.
courage. Oh, buddy, he got some good favor with Aiden. Yeah, but he's back in the fold now too, because he was
Right.
He was persona non grata too. He took a big shot at Big
They
Daddy.
do that like to Crawford, same kind of thing, right? This is sort of a pattern of behavior.
Yeah, so the thing is, I'm just saying, thank God. I started thinking the other night. I said, wait a minute, and it came out of the seat of my pants, like most of my life has been. Halfway through, I don't know where the Christ I was on, some show. Halfway through, I said, wait a minute. Right in my mind, I said, stop it. You know why I can say with conviction? Not because I had a really good source, right, that I worked with back in the day. Now he's advanced, right? That he actually gave me Enrique Delgado's information. I sat on that because, whoa, Sean is sus. No one, Rex, where were you, Rex? Where was Ted Daniels, whatever his name is, right? 1201, 101, 6 hours went by. Oh, there we go. And I'm just saying, the fact that Kevin, the champion of, decency, he didn't take my head off. And I think you're kind of intimating, Kate.
Well, I don't think it's so. And again, like that, it's not. It's pretty simple. Okay, anyone can do a public records request if
I did.
So, I mean, but if you needed help, I would be happy to help you, and you can get these records for yourself, right? Because I can pull them and I post them often, and people will, if they don't like what's in the public records, go, that's not real. But the wonderful thing about public records is, like, I pull them to show my work and for, sort of ease of access to other people. But you don't have to take my word for it. You can go request it yourself. They're public records. They're open, right?
Oh, that's right.
So I would encourage anybody to do this on their own, and you will see that these IA investigations are over. They made their recommendations. Buchanan lost vacation time. Fanning got off with nothing. They didn't consider him. That wasn't sustained. Tully was demoted, which is unfortunate for him, but it is what it is. And Proctor is still open. I don't need to lie about this because it's easy to verify it.
He's not a lieutenant anymore. He got demoted.
Well, I mean, he got moved out of the office. He's now over with the investigative services at the main barracks. Yeah.
So here we go. You don't think what he did? I mean, I know we're getting off the thing, right? you don't think what he did, mishandling of evidence, number one, to the detriment of a witness in the Commonwealth's case against Aiden. You don't think that was?
I think that what happened with that situation was extremely unfortunate. I'm still a little bit unclear as far as, because quite frankly, as it is my understanding that the same thing was done with Jen McCabe, that, the entire extraction was afforded to the defense. The difference being that, as arguably unethical, I wouldn't say arguably, I would call them unethical, but despite the conduct of Yannetti and Jackson, I do not believe that they would just give their client carte blanche to go through a witness's personal information on their phone and post it on the internet at will. Unfortunately, that happened with it. I need more information. However, I know that there was not anything IA opened on that, and I know that, like, Jake, stop it.
I thought that was, Jesus, you're gonna come.
No, I gotta. Yeah, it's a zoo over here, and he likes to try to play with. Stop playing with the cats.
Here's the thing. It was a full extraction minus some things, right? Am I getting that wrong? Minus a few things.
There was, as far as I know, it was not minus anything. It was a full extraction. Yeah.
Right, and all right. So, well, listen. I purposely stayed away because there's my business and none of my business. I didn't want anything to do with that. I think it was a horrible situation.
I hear that.
I don't want to give anything, comment. But the bottom line is this, right? That was not right to Lindsay. That kid either had a brain fart or whatever. But I tell you, my source said he's done. I'm breaking it out here. It's not because of anything that he did with Karen Reed or all that stuff. It's because this new guy, the colonel, said, that's it. If you're a lieutenant in the state police, a very prestigious rank in a very prestigious CPAC unit in Norfolk County, and you're that fucking flagrant and nonchalant with evidence, I think the guy says, you're either working for the feds or you're the dumbest mofo that ever walked the fence. I don't think the kid's dumb. But that's egregious, Kate. I'm telling you, that's egregious.
And I'm not saying like the extraction situation, trust me, between her and Natalie, it's horrible. They've been humiliated. That information off their phones has arguably been used to further intimidate them. I think it's shitty, but they moved Tully to another office. They closed his IA and they still have him on these cases. So, I mean, if it was...
I have to believe you. If you got that, you say you do. I'm not going to... Listen, I'm just telling you what my guy told me.
I can show, I mean, again, I can show you, and I really, we've had enough stream setup issues, but I'm happy to share documentation as I have it. I do try to be fair, and I do understand that, like, not everything in this situation on either end is going to be ideal, but I like to just kind of deal with what I can verify on my own.
Respect that.
No, I'd like to just quickly walk an idea past you there, Sean. You would say that, or would you agree that the Aiden side, whatever, those people, I mean, and himself, I mean, he's been traipsing your name around, and this isn't me attacking you, but he's saying things to the effect of like, he's not a serious person. He's kind of showing you out to be, like off your nut, right?
Yeah, yes, I am. Crazy shot up there, right?
Yeah, that seems to be their narrative for you, right? Like that's and they're even going with it's almost like scripted, like they said about another person. That's not a serious person. That seems to be like the buzzwords for it, right? You're not serious. So I was just wondering, is it possible? Is it even a possibility that some of the intel that you're getting, and I'm not saying all the intel, but some of it, and let's just say for argument's sake that in the case of Mr. O'Keefe, okay, that story there. Let's say that is it possible that intel was given to you to help buttress the tar and feathering of Sean? Do you think that might be possible?
Let's correct the record here. What I was given came to me the same way that Aiden Carney got it. Now, I'm going to use the analogy. Well, if they try to set me up with his information, then he's done too.
Okay.
That means it's all been a fugazi. Do I
Right.
believe that? No, because there's language in those. You probably saw it. There's
Mm.
language in those texts that she puts in quotation marks, right? And it's legal, right? She said knowingly, willingly withheld exculpatory evidence. Whoever said that to her, she put it in quotation marks.
Okay.
Or, I mean,
Okay.
again,
Now,
that's
well, hold on.
Karen's word.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, I
sorry.
know. That's what I was going to say.
Not
Just
mine.
I just want to. I got what you're saying.
You are
I'm following exactly what you're saying. But
exactly.
here,
Who is
I've heard
yeah,
of Karen Reed. I've never spoken to her. I don't know her, but it's a common statement about her that she's very hyper intelligent and that
yes,
she holds these jobs and that and no dummy gets the kind of
right,
job she has. That's why I've never come out and been like, oh, she's some kind of idiot. I don't believe she's an idiot.
right.
She appears to be a very intelligent person. Would you think it would be impossible for her to have the acumen to know that putting that in quotations would be like it would look right to
Hey,
you?
hey,
You know what I
boom.
mean?
At this stage of the game, anything's
Yeah.
possible.
Right. Yeah. I hear you.
But you know
I hear
something?
you. Yeah.
Her problems, right, like legal problems at this stage, is in the hands of the Commonwealth. That's
Mm,
out. Let's make a determination. That's Uncle Joe stuff, right?
okay.
That's over there. That's the only reason I looked at that. The other
Mhm.
stuff is done. It's over with, right? Her fate right now is in there, and I'm going to say right now. I said it tonight. I said it for. She's bulletproof, and they
Sure.
know it. They
But I
know it.
mean, then why? I mean, so she almost, arguably, almost got convicted on
Yeah,
something last
right.
time, right? That was pretty close. I mean, her own defense is saying 9-3. I heard 10-2. I'm willing. Let's just keep it at 9-3, right?
How
That's
about
Right.
11 and a half to half? I don't
oh,
care. It's
but
still
but
Right.
but but that's what they're saying, though, Sean, is that the majority of the jury, wanted to convict her. So,
right.
but they still let it go to trial. They got her that close to a conviction. Now she's going to trial again. That doesn't seem to me like someone. I mean, if the federal government, if the FBI and the DOJ knew that she didn't do this and knew
Right.
that there were third party culprits, then there is no way that it would go to trial the first time, let alone twice. And I mean, there's nothing else coming out. That was her trial. I'm sure that we can all agree that she wasn't holding information back on that trial because her attorneys would be incompetent if that were the
Mm,
case.
Well,
right.
then explain. This is where I say shame on Lally, shame on Alan, David, whatever. My comeback line is, "You fools!" Right? They put up 6 witnesses against your army of witnesses, right? 68 versus 6, and you couldn't get a conviction. That's my
Right,
comeback.
but I mean, in the same token, they pulled out 6 witnesses to their 67, and they only convinced 3 people
True,
out of
but they
12.
12 on the charge 1 and charge 3 if you believe what they said.
Well, and I mean, again, that's the same sort of issue with the hearsay. And I mean, I don't know that here's the thing: is they claim that there were these unanimous counts, but the Aiden doxed the foreman, the jury foreman, right?
I don't
Okay,
know.
but listen, somebody
I don't know.
did, and the jury foreman has been targeted by Free Karen Reed because he was a guilty voter. So how can the jury be unanimous if he was a guilty voter?
I don't know. I
You,
don't listen.
it can't. That's I mean, that's one. That's at least one holdout that wanted to convict her of all the charges, right? So that makes it impossible for it to be a unanimous agreement on any of the charges. Just if it's just that one guy.
Listen, I zoned out the whole thing because it didn't matter. Because I'll tell you right now, there's no justice for John on my side. All right. If she gets convicted, if the biggest word in the dictionary, right?
Mm,
If she gets convicted, well, then she's convicted. It's justice for John. If she's hung again or NG, right? Done, not she's acquitted, it
mhm.
still doesn't bring justice for John. Do you get it? And I'm on, listen, I mean, I was never going to convince you, Kate or Boomer, right? I think I've given you a couple of things to think about, right? And I know you guys, I mean, the expectation, oh, we're going to get Sean. He's coming.
No, I know that you're
No.
you're for. I guess I'm trying to understand more. These are questions that, first of all, I was asked to ask you, but also like it's not so much.
I love it. I love
It's to understand the thought process, right? Because I mean, I
Right.
do want to understand.
Okay. And I listen, Kate, the reason I'm here is because I trust you in that manner. Listen, am I an asshole? Yeah, of course I am. Did I do things that I'm she's gonna come. Did I do things in my life that I'm not proud of? Of course. We all make mistakes, okay? But I do have 35 years of my line. I told Kevin the other day, this is going to happen in one way. I mean, either swim or sink, right? And at the like, okay, Maureen. I mean, I keep calling Maureen, Karen McCormick. Don't take this the wrong way, all right? And I said, if I sink, I'm going to be devastated. I'm just not going to move on. I'm going to be devastated. And I got the famous picture. Oh, if Sean is right and the helicopters come down, the Republic, it's all his thing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to move on. Yeah, are you serious? I mean, how can you be serious? I think you'd be devastated, Kate, if this is an acquittal. You'd be devastated.
I wish that I wouldn't, and I've been asked that question
Wouldn't you just
numerous
move
times
on?
over. Especially, it's not. I mean, at the end of the day, this doesn't have the same effect on my life. I would feel very sad for his family
Uh,
and his friends and the people who loved him that I know would be very hurt by that because I've grown to like them a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would be sad for them,
Me too.
but
Okay.
it wouldn't devastate. I mean, the only thing that it would. I'm not afraid of being wrong. I would say that, and it doesn't really affect my life like that. I know that it affects other people's lives more. Whether the issue to me was really never whether or not she gets acquitted. The issue for me was how I perceive she is taking efforts to ensure that she is. And I think that there's a way that you can rigorously defend yourself without intimidating, harassing, smearing, defaming, and harming
Exactly.
every
Exactly.
single witness in the state's case against you, and not just stopping there, but also peripheral people like this man's family, his mother, his niece, his nephew, his father. They didn't need to get drug into this. I think that, and I think that more and more I'm seeing with Free Karen Reed, you have a split where I've talked to many people who still do believe that she is innocent of murder. And I know I'm not going to change people's minds, and that's okay. I disagree. But, at the end of the day, I'm not facing prison time over this. You're not facing prison time over this. I didn't lose my brother. You didn't lose your brother. Well, I mean, in this, I'm sorry, that was that came out. That came out more insensitive than I mentioned. That wasn't my point. But no, I didn't have anyone murdered in my life. I didn't know John O'Keefe. I'm not related to him, nor are you, right? So the impact really begins and ends with the social media crap, which frankly isn't that important.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the witness intimidation stuff, I mean, I think it's clearer and clearer here, and it does. I think it's fair to ask the question: does a completely innocent person with nothing to worry about or hide take these steps? I don't know. Maybe it happens, and I'm not aware of it.
Of course it happens. It happens because she's fighting for her life.
I mean,
Okay.
but I mean, at what point where does that end in other people's lives? You know what I mean? If I'm fighting for my life, does that give me the right to ruin yours?
Well, it all depends how you look at that. Okay, now hold on real quick. Hypothetically speaking, right? Hypothetically, not going to cast shade here. If it was buffoonery on the part of Sarif, he didn't take his job seriously. He just wanted to go home because no one wants to catch a case like that just before you check off, right? Boomer, you're about to go home. You've been out there all night. You know a blizzard's coming. Do you think he wants to put Karen at the Canton PD waiting for and have her sweated and interrogated because she said I hit him? And here's another thing. I want you to think about this, Kate, also. This is very important. I learned a long time ago, a boss of mine, he said, Sean, if it ain't on paper, it never happened. Not one EMS person that was there that heard her say that had the decency to write down and say, yeah, listen, we heard the lady say she hit him. That girl, whatever her name is, Katie, never said it. Fratelli, whatever his name is, he was the main guy. He never wrote it in his book. That's huge. Sarif, he's been hiding on midnight shifts his whole life because he's got a business like everyone else. He doesn't want anything, right? Not one report was made, right, about I hit him, right? Not one. Now, why did Jen, you're listening, why couldn't you just give that 2-second line? Oh, well, Lanka, Lanka, I forgot to tell you, you don't have to come back in the snowstorm, right? You don't have to come back. But I want to tell you, I forgot to tell you. She said something like, I may have hit him. Not one person in this whole thing, right, until the stand said, I hit him.
Well, that's not true because it was in the charging documents.
It's in the charging documents.
Yeah, back to Stoughton District Court. So
I may have hit him.
No, I mean,
I
hit him came from the emergency personnel.
Written in the report. So you do a report and then you do the affidavit, the charging documents. I'm talking about where is it written in any official report? Okay. Where is the accident investigation? Right. You got a hit and run. Okay. How come there's no accident report taken? Okay. This is in your wheelhouse, right? Why didn't anyone like Michael, Yuri, whatever his name is, the other guy, Trooper Paul, why didn't he do like a normal, I hit you, okay, we're going to do an accident report? Where's that?
Well, they did do Trooper Paul did a report. From what I understand, his report writing is a little bit better than his testimony.
He did a reconstruction. But see, the difference, because I did them, right? But the guy, okay, I'm the CSI guy. I'm Trooper Paul, right? God forbid.
Trooper Paul is not CSI. He's CARS, which is the crash analysis and reconstruction.
Right.
Yeah,
you're right. But hold on. All right. So I was a CSI guy. I get called to the scene of a major vehicular homicide, right? Right. So I do my work, right? Like Trooper Paul. But the beat guy who got the call to mark out the lanes like Wilson Boulevard in Arlington, right? That guy has to do the accident investigation report. Like, okay, you hit a guy, you hit a car in the parking lot. It's either you take a report or you don't. I'm saying this, John O'Keefe, by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, said that he was struck and killed by Karen Reed. There's not one accident. I'm talking about accident report. There's a ton of,
Well, those are usually for like insurance companies, the accident.
Yeah, they go. Right. Hey,
so I don't think that John was asking for Karen's insurance, though.
Okay, come on, Kate, come on. Right. This is where the big dog comes in. You know why no accident report was done? Because you're right. That's when the insurance investigators come in, and they're not Trooper Paul. That's exactly why no accident report was done.
I know, but Sean, the police are not the ones who call and make an insurance claim. The insured would.
No. When you charge a woman with killing her boyfriend by ways of a vehicle, right? The one a piece of information that's missing this whole thing by design is I'm telling you, they have it. State police have it. Canton PD has it, right? It's called an accident report. Sometimes,
right, but those are done again when you. So if I get into an accident and I call the police and I say, hey, come out and please take an accident report. That's for they make a report for the insurance company. It's not even a criminal citation most of the time. This is a criminal case, right? The accident reports are for insurance. So my question here is though, who's calling the police and asking them to make an accident report for what insurance claim? There's a deceased pedestrian.
Hit by a car. It's a cat. It's a
okay, but again, is he asking for an accident report to go after Karen's insurance? No, he's deceased.
No, time out. It's the onus is on the investigating. Who knows? Is it the state police at that time? Yeah, they do accident reports. I'm not talking about reconstruction, right?
But again, like, how are they going to do an accident report?
Okay, here we go. Okay, at such and such a time, we say that Karen Reed backed her car into John O'Keefe, causing mortal wounds. He died.
But at that point, were they were unsure of what hit him initially? Wasn't that the
No,
case?
nobody.
They didn't know if it was a plow or a car or what they, or,
You
were
asked
they
them.
not?
I don't know why. Listen, I've been asking for over 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I'm just
Right.
saying, there's a reason why certain things were done. I know we can go this. Listen, I'm telling
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
we can do this forever. Talk this, talk that. The thing is this, okay? It was never written in any report that she said that. Even when she called Lanka. Why would it? I'm getting back to my thing. It's snowing out. It's a blizzard. Why did Lanka and Gallagher have to come back? It was a 2-second thing. Hey, Mikey Lanka, I just want to let you know, I forgot. Don't come. You don't have to come back. I'm telling you. Call it in. Why?
It's hard to say why.
Tell you
You
why.
know, I mean, as far as the reaction, you get woken up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You get driven out to, you're trying to find your friend who you later find deceased in the snow. There's a lot going on. I mean, like, I don't think it's I mean, I think it's pretty. You've never had a call where later on a witness calls you back and says, "Hold on, I need to talk again." Like, especially in that moment, right?
Yeah. What do you got? Just tell me. I'll write it down.
Okay, so I mean, but if that would have happened, then I mean, I would that matter?
Yeah, I think it would.
I think I appreciate Nick Carr has a good question for you. I like this one because I think like it really kind of highlights your experience and everything. So you worked CSI, right? So if you were on scene as the Canton officer when John was transported to the hospital, and so you have no access to evidence containers to collect the snow with drops of blood in the high wind snowstorm. What would you have done?
Well, we heard what Gallagher could have done. He said it was back at the station. That's what I would have done. I would have gone back to the station and done it the industry standard way. Gallagher's full of shit. Gallagher said that he didn't see Brian Higgins when he and Lanka went back to the house. How do you miss a guy like Brian Higgins? Just tell me.
What do you mean when they went back to the house? Well, I mean, I don't. The house is, the property's pretty big and the house is pretty big. I mean, I guess it depends.
Okay. Listen, I got this embedded in my brain because I wanted to watch. I wanted to see the little squirmy, the 13-year DEA task force officer, right? Oh, and didn't have to do a search warrant. Well, why? You searched the property. You searched private property without a search warrant. Did you get consent? No. Then why'd you search? All right. He goes back with Lanka. Lanka said, yeah, who's there? Brian Higgins, Brian Albert, the cast of characters. Right? You know what? Special Agent Task Force Officer Gallagher says, this guy, what about Brian Higgins? I never saw him. How do you miss Brian Higgins? Both guys were there. He says no. Lanka says yes. What I'm trying to say is that was a 20-second phone call in the middle of a blizzard. Why did they have to truck all the way back to 34 Fairview? And here's the other thing. Why did they leave? They knew the troops were coming. They knew fucking Procter and Company were coming. Why did they leave? Why did they leave, Kate? I'm telling you, industry standards were completely violated. And I'm the only one in this room has done the job.
Yeah, no, I defer to people that have, and I talk to, again, like a lot of people that.
Did he ask the question? Nick?
I mean, he was asking sort of what would you do if you were in that blizzard, and you say that you would go back to the station and get the evidence back.
I would secure the scene. That's the first thing you do. Get a scribe. No one in, no one out. If you go in, give me a name. Time. You come out, give me a name. Time out. Industry standards. Trust me.
Well, I mean, I actually just drove through a pedestrian strike the other day, right on Route 1 near my house. And I mean, there were cruisers and stuff there, but I mean, people were still driving down the road. They were, kind of reverting traffic, but it was not no one in, no one out. It was right in front of the CVS, actually. So there was parking lot traffic and everything else. So, like, I mean, if that's industry standard, then I've definitely seen it not happen.
Well, listen. You don't do a crime scene search on a vehicle collision. But
Well, I
when
mean,
you
I think you do in that case when you start to find evidence, and I mean, they weren't digging through the snow. I think part of the problem was that the search wasn't necessarily sufficient the first time around because of the weather conditions, right? So they kept finding evidence,
oh,
which
poor
seems to be a
baby,
huge.
poor babies, they couldn't get Robert Kraft to get those big heaters out. They couldn't get any. No, come on, this is a Boston
Robert
cop.
Kraft, like the
Like the
owner of the
Patriots
Patriots.
couldn't get those big heaters to come down. Berkey, Berkey's really close with Bobby. Hey, takes a phone call. Hey, Mr. Kraft, listen, you gave me a lot of money for those details. You give Helene a lot of. We have a problem here. We need to pull all the stops out, Boomer, for one of our own. He's dead. He's gone. We need to get the snow. We need to find evidence, right? Can you lend us that? We'll send a pickup truck to pick it up. Fuck no, they didn't. And guess what? You all lied about the crime scene. Kevin did. Braden Carney, I don't know who the Christ he is. Oh, Sean, I got it. It's right there in the book. I got it. That crime scene was never secured. And anything that happened after those 12 hours, down the drain. But
So
the
what
problem
about
is,
the murders I was talking about earlier, though? That the body gets dumped in the woods and it's not found for 9 months because that wasn't secure the whole time. Is that down
I'm
the
working on
drain?
a
Can't
case.
solve it.
This was a fluid investigation, right? I'm working on a case, Jamie Robertson. He was found 2 years later, right? John Fanning was the lead, all right? Apples and oranges. This was supposed to be a fluid investigation, right? This is the murder of a Boston, well, this is the death investigation of a Boston cop, suspicious, right? We don't know this, we don't know that. Evidence could be in the car. They didn't take the car. Yuri's saying at 10:20, we're looking at it as a domestic assault and battery with a glass. Get that car. Yuri goes, Lanka, got that friggin' place up in One Meadows. Get it before she goes. Let's get the car. We got to take it now. There could be pieces of glass, blood, whatever. That was their working theory at 10:20. I got the document. It was played. It was put on the stand in the trial. Industry standards down the drain. Why? I know
Okay.
why. I know why.
Why do you think?
They didn't have the story. They didn't have the evidence. Had they got that car, and it showed what Jen said. Jay, listen, those are not my words. She said it was cracked. Kerry Roberts said it was cracked. Karen Reed said it was cracked. Officer Barrows said it was cracked, right? We got the final product, the big gaping hole, right? The big gaping hole. No LEDs. I'm telling you, I broke one down here. Double barrel. One
No,
outside.
I get you, Sean. But I mean, like, where are you taking this to?
I'm taking it right now. When I'm taking it right now, I'm telling
Yeah.
you, this can't be a surprise. I'm alleging that it was a cover-up, and I can prove by
Okay.
my own independent investigation, right?
Now let's just say, for argument's sake, I concede. Okay, I don't believe in all aspects. This was a complete fuck up and whatnot. But let's just, for argument's sake, let's concede the
Right.
entire investigation, this and securing the scene, was the worst in history. Okay.
Right.
At the end of the line that you're chasing here, who are we pointing the finger at as who caused the death?
Okay.
Not the cover up. Like, take that apart. Like, put that on hold. Okay. Like, let's
Hey.
just say I believe the cover up happened. Who did it then?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
That was the cops. That was Yuri and Proctor. But see,
Right.
no, stay away. Kisses and drinks. I got a great T-shirt. Kisses and drinks. How many times it was kissed? How many drinks were taken? But stay the hell away from 34 feet.
Well, for Karen, it was 9 drinks, but
Yeah.
like I've seen evidence that Karen killed him. I mean,
Right.
Who?
right.
Who?
I have seen evidence that Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe. As far as I have not seen actual evidence that anybody else has. So that kind of
Well, the telemetrics in her vehicle alone makes me wonder how would you explain that?
You mean the famous key cycles that were misinterpreted?
No. The acceleration and sudden stop
right.
I think that happened
in reverse.
I think that happened outside Dighton with those wheels spinning. We can all talk about this.
But what
Listen,
about
doesn't matter.
the strike that it registered, sort of where the acceleration is still 75%? There's a 5 mile an hour decrease in speed. A
That's
jerk
like foot
of
to the
wheel
floor.
and it just keeps going. How do you?
Hey, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
You know.
Get it. Hey,
Well, I mean,
when
the
you,
suspension of disbelief, though, Sean, like, because when it comes down to, let's just take, I'm not going to put this on you. Let's take this from Aiden's page. Okay. So this isn't your words. I'm not using your words.
I know,
Is
fine,
that like, for instance, okay. And I'll admit my bias right up front.
fine. I got it.
I don't know Jen McCabe. Like, I don't know her extremely well, but I think I know her well enough to say that I'm not a complete moron. I get a pretty good read on people, and to believe that she is a supervillain is the silliest thing in the world. Now, I'll just put this out there, okay? I didn't grow up with the craziest backstory, but I've bumped into some people like you, Sean. I'm sure you've met more than I have. Some people that give you pause where you're like, they don't got a soul. These are some evil people. Like, you
Yeah,
can smell it on them, right? It's like a pheromone.
exactly.
I've only spoken to this lady, but I think enough that I can confidently say if that was the case, that she was this evil villainess, my mind would be forever blown.
Right.
So the suspension of disbelief, when it comes into the conspiracy that starts to point to this family, it becomes not only improbable, but impossible in my experience and in my mind from my dealings. Okay.
I gotcha.
Now, uh, when it, So when you're talking about a conspiracy and a cover up that involves so many state agencies and actors
Sure,
therein, and
sure.
then to point the finger at the family and to blanket statement call them killers, which is one of the worst things you can call a human being. We'd agree is a killer, or
Sure.
somebody that's maybe or harmed a child would probably be also one of the worst things
Right.
you could say, right?
Right.
To throw that around and to throw it around at people who are they're normal people, Sean, and like,
Yes. Yeah.
so it makes me wonder, like, okay, in this conspiracy theory, who is believably the villain? It's
Okay.
I mean, that's
I
the
don't
thing is,
feel
why do we have to, like, I
yeah,
mean, I think that when this first came out, her lawyer, characterized it as a tragic accident. I don't know that we have to cast a villain in the murder.
right.
Now, I'm sure that his family feels a little bit differently now, but this was their first impression, was that she had just made a terrible mistake, and there was no hatred or real anger in their hearts
Right.
until all this extra stuff
Yeah.
happened,
Until
right?
the hero stood.
Right.
The hero
Right.
took the plate. Steve Scanlon. If Steve
But
Scanlon,
you've heard Steve Scanlon. Like, you've heard the call. Everybody's heard the call,
I'm
right? I
assuming
know.
you've heard the call, Sean.
Have you
Have
heard the
you
call,
heard?
Sean?
I purposely
Oh,
did not. I did
Well,
not.
okay.
you
I
should
think you
hear the
should,
call. You should hear it
honestly.
because Steve
Yeah.
Scanlon denies all of it.
Did
His
they
own
get,
voice.
did they get the
Yeah.
call when he called Yannetti? Is that the call you're talking about? Did they get
No,
that call?
his call with
No.
Aiden. So
Oh,
Aiden Carney,
right.
he recorded the whole thing. Sean has no knowledge of this. Sean has
Oh, hell no.
denied it. Sean,
Yeah.
not Sean. I'm sorry. Steve has denied
Steve.
it. Steve has threatened to sue people that want to reprint this. He doesn't. He denies knowing any. He didn't even know who Colin Albert was.
Sean, I would love you to hear the clip. No,
Oh,
I would love you to hear it because I would like to hear your professional take on it. And where he's saying, like, who's calling? Like, it's damning, man. It's
right.
it to me, it smacks as somebody who wants attention. And I'll put this out there too. And I'm sure you've noticed this from your vantage point, that there's a lot of characters that are inserting themselves into this for attention.
Yeah, they're
Right, on all, it's just everywhere, right? That's what people do.
right.
They see cameras, they hear, oh, a platform will, people will hear my words. Attention, belonging. I mean, I think that's half of what.
I'm being accused of that.
Right.
I'm being,
Okay.
hold on, real quick.
Yeah,
Fog of War, Jen. Right? Think about this. Fog of War. You know what it is when you're smart.
I know what it is. I
Fog
know
of
what it is.
War, Jen, or who else, right? Is different from 3 years down the road on the stand, Jen. The fog of war. But the problem is this. Have we really, let's be honest here, because one of those witnesses that should have been called, I think, wasn't. And that was the FBI team that I guess it was said, right, by Yannetti in the famous, pre-trials, that the FBI agents have discovered that, in fact, 220. So now, are we sure? Are we really sure? Because I want to give Jen an out here.
There's no out. I mean, I'll tell you at this
No.
point, Celebrate has now updated their software. They've put out what's called a white note. I'm sure you know what a white note is. So
Listen, I'm a bag and tag 'em guy. I'm not, that shit. That's fine. I'm a
So
bag and tag 'em.
they have now put out a industry statement.
Standards.
And they have said that this is a mistake. What pulled that data from Jen McCabe's phone, because it's not just her case that's affected. There was another one out of the country, but you know this misinterpretation was a mistake with their software. They fixed it. It's not like, I mean, that's a dead issue as far as I'm concerned. The
But are we
227.
really sure? Are we really sure?
I mean, I don't know
I'm
who you would
confident,
ask
Sean,
beyond
yeah, personally, yes.
Celebrate. Like, I mean, that's
No,
literally
the
I mean, this is
gatekeeper.
one of their software engineers here
Okay.
saying this.
I
Yeah.
hope Hank Brennan, if he's got the goods, that he powers down.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is right now, Hank Brennan's not stupid by any stretch of the
Not even
imagination.
a little bit. Yeah.
Not
I
even.
agree.
Right? Give the kid,
I agree.
the guy, right?
Mm.
He's 67. You can call everyone a kid. I still call kids kids.
Yeah.
Hank Brennan, by no stretch of the imagination, he's no dummy, right? But I gotta kind of think he's looking at Lally. He said, "What the fuck am I? Whoa! All right, Lally, you get your investigation. Now I'm blessed. I got the anointment. I got the blessing because I can now look at the 3,074. I can only imagine you put this fucking case on knowing all this. And here's the thing: you really doubled down on Karen saying June of 2022. Now we know." By some of those things and Natalie's things that March, long before Aiden was even a blip, he was doing ratchet madness. You probably, I don't know, were you on his team then? I don't know. She
No,
says,
I was gone by 2020. Yeah.
okay, so I don't know. She said,
Yeah, it's stupid.
March of 2020, we knew who killed John. We knew how they did it and how they're framing me. That's 2022.
Okay.
We know in June of 2022. Now, I don't know how they arrested her. I don't know if she had a couple of cocktails or whatever. She's probably pissed. But I can tell you right now, she confidently said, "Hey, Yuri, yeah, you in the joke? Are we in the joke on this? You know, the whole thing." I don't want to go over the whole thing, right? Here's the bottom line.
But the problem with that, Sean, is that your source always goes back to what Karen says. Karen says. But this is Karen says that in June of 2022 they knew who did it and how she was framed. Why didn't that come out in court?
So did she convince herself that much on that Yuri had to take it down? So don't say anything. You're under arrest. No, don't say that. All right.
He was preserving, because again, that's another version of, like, I mean, in theory, objectively, without all this extra noise, if you have a defendant that's changing their story a bunch, it's not great for the defendant
That's
either.
another
So
bad look,
he was
yeah.
telling her, as he should, like, you might not want to talk without your lawyer. Some cops would
Absolutely.
just let her talk. If I was a cop, I would probably just let her talk for whatever. And I mean, I don't know Yuri, but I've had a couple interactions with him, and he is very much by the book. So yeah.
I give him that. But hold on. What I'm trying to say is, right? Why the hell did Lally double down on that? There was no way to win that one. No way. He doubled down. Let's face it. He thought it was something else. Remember the pre-trial hearing? He thought
Double down on what?
Yeah, I'm not following.
Sorry.
Okay. So before he played for the judge, right? This video, right? He made a statement, said, and we now have the defendant saying, right, that she saw these guys hit John head over the thing, right? Well, it was also
I remember.
right. You remember?
Yep. I do now. Yep.
This was crazy. Jesus Christ. He tripled down. He brought it into, so he didn't do the video. He did the audio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I don't know.
That's a good question. All right. One more thing.
Sure.
Kerry Roberts. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Kate?
Sure.
Who had the Blizzard party?
What do you mean, the Blizzard party?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Who had the Blizzard party that night? All right. We're going to go back to Kerry Roberts and Sean Good. Stuttering Sean.
What?
She makes that phone call. Now, allegedly, she talked to Karen. Right?
No,
So-
Karen called her. So
Right,
Karen.
right. Oh, here we go. We
It's,
got the
it's
wrong-
not, but it's not
I do
alleged
that.
because Karen admits this, and there's phone
Yeah,
records,
I'm going
and Carrie
somewhere.
testified to it.
I'm going somewhere. Yeah,
Okay.
going somewhere. Did we see in any report, grand jury, police reports, that there was a Blizzard party that night? No.
No.
Going somewhere here. Listen to me.
Okay.
All right. So during the conversation with Stuttering Sean, I feel bad. Listen, I shouldn't be that way. Sean, I'm sorry. I'm
He's
sorry.
probably not watching, but I'm sure he accepts your
He
apology.
probably is.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. You shitting me? This is like fucking, this is like Geraldo's thing at Al Capone's fucking.
Oh no, not the. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, you remember those?
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Here
about.
we go,
Yeah,
right? So
I know
she's
what
saying,
you mean.
and she's great, and his girlfriend's saying this, and said they're out having drinks, and then they went back to the Blizzard party. And he says at the end, he said, "Yeah, you know, I didn't get the chance to go to that party. I was stuck here. It's on tape." And I said to myself,
It's
"What?"
on tape where? Who has that?
It was her call right to him. It was played. The Blizzard party, Kerry, I know you're watching. Gotcha. I got you here. Just tell me, what the hell? Who told you about a Blizzard party? We know it was an impromptu. It was like nightcap. I've done a million nightcaps. I didn't
So
ever want
I don't remember her saying anything on the phone
Yeah,
about
it's not
a
familiar to
Blizzard
me
party.
either. Sorry,
No.
Sean.
I know it
Yeah.
was an oversight.
Okay.
It was an oversight. All right, I'll send it to you. Kerry
Okay.
knows. Listen, Kerry, you know.
Are
Blizzard
you?
party.
What are you accusing? I mean, I don't really. So I mean,
That's what I want to know.
Karen had told them at this point, that, where she had gone and that she dropped
I never
John
heard the
off.
word
And
Blizzard party. I never heard it categorized ever as a Blizzard party. Ever.
what is what? So I mean, I guess there were people at the house and there was an impending blizzard. I suppose that you
Yeah.
could
There was
call
an
that a blizzard party.
You had Brian Jr.'s birthday. That should
Right.
have been the birthday party. What? Let's come on.
Well, I think that probably that information didn't make it to Karen. Just that there was a group of people. I doubt that, I'm not Karen, I'm sorry, Carrie. I doubt that Carrie was going into detail about it being Brian Jr.'s birthday party. And Carrie Roberts didn't know the Alberts or the McCabe's or any of these people. So
Right.
she wouldn't have that
Right.
information that it was Brian Jr.'s birthday party.
I think it's strange that nowhere, anywhere, is it mentioned in any report again a Blizzard party. But yet,
Why,
on that,
though? What
I
pertinence
don't
I
does
know.
can't
that
see
have?
the significance myself,
Yeah.
honestly. But I mean,
Okay, all right.
I'm open to opining on all sorts of things, Sean. Like, trust me.
I don't know if you know Kerry. I don't know. Maybe you should ask
I
him.
do.
Me, no, I
Right.
don't.
I mean, I've heard Carrie's story personally on the stand. I mean, it's never changed. I mean,
No,
Carrie
it's
was bulletproof enough that they didn't even bother to cross-examine
didn't.
her.
Right.
Really,
Right.
no, they didn't.
But here's the thing. It exists and it's been exploited. Right. I'll send it to you. And a good friend of
Okay.
mine said, "Did you see this, Sean? Did you hear it?" I go, "No." Listen. I said, "Holy shit. Who? What's the Blizzard party about?" Now, listen, I'll tell you where I'm going with this. Hypothetically, that maybe there was some before things going on. Right. Listen, hypothetically, I'm not putting shade on Kerry.
That's a huge leap. Though.
I'm
I
saying
mean, that's
hypothetically, I'd say, listen.
but that's I mean, there has to even hypotheticals are not how I mean,
okay,
they're
but
not
see-
fair. Hypothetically, you just did a bunch of heroin before the stream. Like, do you see how unfair that is? No, that's
Right.
unfair. That's
No,
not. I wouldn't.
yeah.
I'm not saying that. That was an example.
No, no.
Because that would be unfair
And,
to you.
and again, and not to jump on you here, Sean, but
I get it.
I would say that these kind of hypotheticals,
Right.
I'd be more comfortable with these kind of loose hypotheticals if we weren't putting it out
No.
into the media. Because, and I'll just say, I'll tie it up with this, because and maybe you would agree, maybe you wouldn't, but there seems to be a large enough group of people out there, okay, and I won't pin it to a side, that act on hypotheticals and they do negative things to other people, right? So I kind of get where Kay's coming from this. I get that you're trying to walk out an idea, and I understand that, but I think, like,
Question. I
it's,
have a
I
question.
hate using this word. I'm not trying to sound smart and shit, but it's kind of incumbent upon us, for lack of a better word, to be responsible, to be careful with our hypotheticals
Right.
when
But
we're in this, in this,
Right. Right.
you
So
know
you
what I
guys
mean.
do the fog of warriors, right?
I do. Yeah,
Right.
I do.
Well, you add some booze to it, right? Now it gets a little
Uh-huh.
crazy, right? Hypothetically, say it did happen. Well, I'll tell you right now, the federal government said it didn't happen with that car. So where did it happen?
But that's not what they. That's not what they said, though. I mean,
Right.
I mean,
What
so
do-
at one
hey, break
point
it
when
down.
pressed on cross-examination, the guys from ARCA conceded that it was a possibility that it was a pedestrian site, that was one of many. They also weren't given all the information,
I
which
was
is
going to say that.
problematic. Yeah.
Well,
I
Yes,
mean,
that
but
stuck out in my mind. If I and I'm saying I got a memory like a sieve, dude. If it's stuck in my head, then yeah, no,
sure,
it's
sure, right.
that was
So
heavy.
they're going to come back and firm it up. That's it.
Yeah,
But I mean, and I
yeah,
guess I would hope that before we start accusing people of murder, right?
I'm not
yes,
accusing anyone. I'm
Yeah,
just
and
asking.
I appreciate that,
What did
because
you
like
why
again,
did
like
you-
I think that if you're ever in Massachusetts, that if we all got together and you met some of these people, you would understand a little bit more. Because I mean, like
oh yeah,
I've met some pretty shitty people because I'm a scumbag. I'm sure you've met
Right.
some pretty shitty people because you're you're a cop. Like Boomer's met some shitty people because he just talks to everybody. But like you can sort of tell, and people that are capable of things like killing other people in a calculated, cold-blooded, elaborate conspiracy, like
Right.
they have some tells.
they're a special breed, right?
And these
Sean?
people are just kind of devoid of that. And like again, like Karen's entitled to a vigorous defense just like anybody else is.
Absolutely.
I think that the
Absolutely.
objection really comes in that, like, I mean, these people are being persecuted and essentially tried and hung in the public square without even any due process whatsoever over stuff that, like, I mean, you bring up some questions, some hypotheticals, maybe some sloppiness in the investigation, definitely some deficiencies, but I still haven't seen from anyone, not just anybody, any actual evidence that anybody that is not named Karen Reed actually killed this guy. And I just don't feel comfortable with what's happened to these people with that gigantic lack of evidence, right?
No. I just listen.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to ask, and you guys paused. I never heard about a blizzard party, but I'll give you the tape. One other thing, coming back to the trial. All right. I got a call on Thursday night from a source I cannot give, right? And it was this, that it came out on Thursday before Monday when the hung jury was called, right? That this person reported that 1 and 3 are done, right? Not guilty, and they're going to be hung on number 2. Okay. That's Thursday before. So what did I do? Said, do I have due diligence? I already got slapped one time by Karen for not contacting her attorneys, right? So I don't have access to their attorneys. They're in the war room, right? So I called Kelly Reed. And Kelly, listen, Kelly knows. I'm persona non grata with Kelly now too. It's fantastic. I said, Kelly, listen, I'm just letting you know, get this information. If there's anything, fine. I can't burn the source, but isn't it amazing? And she'll tell you. If she wants it, I got my call into her on that Thursday night, right? And I don't know if she told. I think she said it's a text. I'm sorry, it's a text. She said, "Listen, this is high stakes right now, Sean. I'm not gonna." She says, "Furthermore, Sean, if it is true, you're not going to burn your source." You're right. I said, "But you could talk about it. You could bring it up. I don't know why." I said, "I hope it's true, right? But isn't it amazing? Someone." And this is crazy. I know someone knew on Thursday night that 1 and 3 were not guilty, knew it, and that they were hung on number 2.
Or conversely, that was a story that was starting to get circulated, because again, we know, and I didn't get this information from anywhere other than Free Karen Reed, but that the jury foreman is being blamed for the way that the notes were written, that he purposefully tried to, create the impression that they were hung on all the charges and that he was a guilty voter on all the charges, right? Like this has been, so therefore you can't say that 1 and 3 were off the table, because even if you have only one guilty voter, and I don't know if there were more or not, but we know that at least by all accounts, the jury foreman was that one, that nothing was unanimous.
Right. Well, all I can tell you right now is, and you think I was going to make that statement? No way. But I got off my conscience. I said, Kelly, of course I can't burn the source. No way. I said, but tell Alan, he's got to look at it. I don't know if
And you don't think that's a little bit concerning if the defense has communication with somebody in the jury room? Wouldn't that be indicative to you of potentially some jury tampering?
It came out of the VHW post in Dedham. That's where it came from. I
But
didn't
they
say,
wouldn't. It did not. It did not come out of the VFW.
you
You're
know,
talking about with the family.
I don't know. I'm saying the person that called me said, I was at the VFW tonight, right? After some beers, right?
Okay.
Listen, I'm sure you know that. I got more crazies calling me at every time. And at this stage,
I
I don't
believe it.
The
I
whole
believe it.
case attracts it,
Yeah.
and everybody wants to be a part
Yes.
of it. My
Exactly.
concern with this right off the bat, Sean, is that yet again it's, and I like, trust me, I think you're getting a bad rap here. I think that you were given a lot of this information. Obviously, a lot of information came directly from Karen Reed, who is
know.
now
Came from
discrediting
Natalie.
you.
Came from Natalie.
That got it, that you saw
Yeah,
all
but
because it came from Karen Reed.
right.
Who
Like,
gave it?
unless you're saying that, are you saying that Natalie like manufactured or made this
No,
stuff up, or?
no. I know what. Listen, I had hours and hours talking to Natalie. I know it, right? I know how it went. Aiden lied about it. And to a lesser extent, he probably didn't know he could do what he did. But the bottom line is, it's either a lie, or it's true, right? But listen, that wasn't my bag. I'm just saying, it's funny how, and I'll tell you, it's out there. I have the text of it. She knows it, and she said, "Will you give it up?" I go, "I can't." She's all right. It's too, it's too high stakes. All right, I go to my grave on that one. I put my
The
hand
text on what? I'm sorry.
on the guy that said he heard from the VFW, the other camp, that they're all pissed because it's not coming out they wet. 1 and 3 is off the table, not guilty. That's a killer because the murder was the charge. Right?
Yeah. So but again, like going
I know,
through firsthand sources.
Don't trust me. Don't trust Crazy Sean because he's
No. It's not that I
No,
don't.
no,
But the
but
thing is that
that's-
the information is not coming from you, Sean. It's coming from
No,
somebody that related to
That's
you.
exactly. And
you're
to
right.
revisit my
Right.
conspiracy theory, Sean, is that
Right.
I feel like I'll just put out there because I don't have sauces. I don't have any of this kind of shit. I'm not going to give you receipts. This is just a
Intelligent.
gut feeling, just a gut feeling.
Right.
I think you're getting some poisoned lines of info to discredit you. I really do. And my guess would be why would be this. Initially, you were seen as an asset by maybe Reed. I'll just say the Reed camp, okay? Because I'm not going to pin this on a person without any definitive
Right.
receipts,
Right.
okay? I believe that they felt that you were an asset earlier on, and now that you're not playing certain games, like you've come out and you've said, like, look, I don't back up harassment of folks. Okay, you've said
know.
that, so that kind of right, and that kind of goes against the grain with how they operate, right? Because we've seen it.
You think that if someone came out of my house with my wife at home, right, 200 people, you think I wouldn't
Right.
come out and fucking annihilate someone? Absolutely.
Exactly.
You don't do that.
And maybe for the simple reason that you have come out and said that's not, like as you put it, right? That's not my bag. That's not how I roll. Okay, that makes you less useful to them because you're not playing ball, right? You're not as controllable, and if you're not controllable, then how do we burn you? That
Well,
might be one way.
hey, boom, that's not bad. And I'll tell you, right? I said this to Aiden. I said this to Karen. Why in the name of God, knowing what Natalie had, her role that she played, why would you kick it to the curb? Right? My whole thing up until, I don't know, August was keeping her on ice. Yes, Natalie, please, you're fine. Try to keep this thing from blowing up. And
What
then
do you mean by this thing from blowing up?
Okay, so her whole thing was this: Sean, please, talk to Karen. I said, I don't talk to Karen. Lie. But what am I gonna say? I'm not gonna say, all right, Natalie. I said I needed to keep her on ice, all right, because she said, "Oh, Karen got mad at me and Aiden got mad at me." Fine, I said, but I said, Natalie, calm down. And then she went to the Rockos. The whole story's there. You've talked to her, Kate. I know you have. I don't have any problems with Nat. Right. The thing is, here we go again. Boomer, you said it, right? They know what I know.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're kicking the shit. I see that kid hasn't learned yet. Now they're kicking the shit. And listen, I'm not here because of him. I'm here because of me. I'm not running scared. And guess what? okay, you have enough respect for me. I have enough respect for you. I don't give a shit, all this stuff. You, Kate, have been very, very, let's put it like this, a good adversary, right, against me, which is fine. And listen, I get it. I deserved it. All right. I'm not here
Wow.
because no, I did. Listen, I did. I'm not here, right, to jump ship. I'm not. Unless, Kate, you and the people, the person formerly known as the witch doctor, Jules, can lay it out for me, I'll jump. But I can't jump because I know in my heart, everything in my fiber, that she's 1,000,000% innocent. Now, if that rubs people the wrong way, fine. All the mofos out there that say, "Oh, Sean's running and cut." Elise, listen, God forbid I have Elise on speed dial. God forbid I was friends with her when she went out and rushed to Stoughton District Court to cover Aiden's arrest. God forbid I would ever talk to that woman, right? You know what I'm saying? Here I'm saying, Kate, I'm being facetious here. This is what they do, and you're right, Boomer. Why would she do that knowing what she gave me? Like that text saying, he's a liability.
Mm-hmm.
He blew me up. That phone had 2 years of everything on it. Right. I can't risk. I don't know what the hell thing says. I
know what you're saying, but again, too, I would throw that back at you, right? It's like that move of her saying that, like, "Oh, I had all this shit," and then that, and dude brought heat to me, right? Blew up my shit. Again, like in my personal experience, when I hear that turn of phrase, when I hear that language, I think criminal. Because it sounds like criminals. The way they speak, I've heard a few of them speak, and they speak like that. You brought heat to my front door. You blew up my shit. You got my phone taken. You know what I mean? This is an angry criminal. Now, I'm not saying that's her now, but that's what it sounds like.
She's right. She wasn't lying. She was right. Bill Reed was right. What he did. What changed? Why did Nicky get demoted? Why did Nicky Rocco get demoted? I
don't know.
I can explain exactly what changed, and you know too. Aiden got upset at being iced out, so he threatened to turn Karen into the police, right? She capitulated to that. So from my perspective, you usually don't threaten to turn someone into the police who isn't actually engaged in conspiracy with you in that case. And certainly if someone threatens that, you don't freak out and capitulate to them unless you're trying to stop them from going to the police for something legitimate.
We're back to cheaper to keep her, Sean.
I'm gonna go appeal to Brian Albert and Kyle Dougal and any other cop out there, right? You don't fuck around with the person that can do you the worst, right? Right. True. Every cop knows, right? You got a loose cannon out there. Keep him safe. Keep him pacified, right?
Don't press him.
Right. He was squawking, just like, Natalie. She could be squawking, right? Why haven't they learned their lesson?
Right, but I mean, to be fair, Natalie certainly did not talk to the police out of anger from anything that I know of her or anything.
No.
It was genuine guilt and concern. And like, I don't really spend a lot of time in my life worrying about who's going to be like squawking because I'm not committing crimes, with my friends. So
that's what I'm saying. Right? It comes back to it's the way of the walk. And I want to sneak this into just because I haven't got to yet, and I feel compelled.
You got it.
I've spoken with Natalie a fair amount myself, and I think one way that she's been, I believe, misrepresented in general is attention seeking. That can't be farther from the truth. I don't believe she wants attention, especially, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she's a sweetheart, man. I really don't think she's clout chasing. I don't see her like that at all.
She was very nice to me, right?
Yeah,
very nice. The only thing I went a little off on her, and she'll tell you, right? The group that was formulated, right? I don't know, Coltrane, evidence for John, whatever it was, and they released the hair. Who had that, right? And I said, Natalie, please tell me, right? You didn't do this. She said, Sean, I'm telling you left and right. I said, okay. So I kind of, It didn't sit well with me because I knew she went to the Roccos and Roccos went to Karen and Karen said, don't ever talk to her again. Right. So with the Roccos, they cut her out. I know that.
Okay.
This thing. Natalie's not the bad person in this.
No, most definitely not.
Natalie was the person that went from A to B. She was the middle person. I'll take A and I'll give it to B. That's it. But guess what? Now, Boomer, here's the thing. She was on signal. She kept everything. Everything she kept. Now, listen, I don't think but why keep everything? Was that her?
I don't believe she did keep everything, and that's my take on it. I think she kept some things.
She
Pardon?
gave them all okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
like I don't think she was filing everything. Like I'm gonna put folders together. Like that's a certain type of personality. You know what I mean?
I say the Natalie files. It's little.
No. I'm not even nodding to that, but I mean, like, I'm actually nodding to another character that does do that, and I think you probably know who I'm talking about now, right? Keeps files on everybody, right? Oh, yeah. Like that's a different way of walking, right? You know, right. and I don't. All I'm saying is I don't think that. My read on Natalie is she's not that type of person. I think, and I do believe the reason why she turned over, let's just call it evidence, okay. Right. Is, as Kate said, I do believe this to be genuine, the truth.
Right.
She felt guilty, man. She changed her own mind. It's right. her thoughts changed. She believed one thing prior, and then one thing after. I don't think it's all reduced down to. No. My point is this:
I can explain to you what I mean. I can't speak for her, but. Yeah. I can explain to you what changed her mind, and it certainly wasn't being kicked out of the club because there was a significant gap between when she was kicked out of the club and when I ended up speaking to her.
Yeah,
and then,
exactly.
Later, but what changed her mind is that she was given access to all of the documentation and information because, Karen tends to push just one half of it. She was able to speak to police. She was able to speak to John's family, John's friends, some of the witnesses, and she was able to get to know people and get information and ask questions. She approached it with an open mind. When I first spoke to her, she absolutely still believed that Karen was innocent, and that's fine. And she knew that something was maybe a little bit funny with Karen giving out information on the witnesses, all that stuff. But she still was like, I don't have anything, I wish her well and I believe in her innocence. I just can't be involved anymore. What changed her mind was to then, look at the people that had been affected by this, listen to their stories and kind of make their own determination. So she came in with an open mind, and when she was able to speak to the police, was able to ask them questions about things that were kind of nagging at her or she had some doubt about previously. And that sort of, helped her reconcile in her head and come up with, sort of her own determination about what happened based on, her own questions and the evidence that she was requesting. So, I think that's fair. And I have a lot of respect for Natalie. I think she's I know she's a really good person. I know she's, gets a bad rap. No sound. All right, I have no idea what just happened there. Who runs the show? Not me. All right, I have muted everybody somehow inadvertently. I didn't even touch anything. No, I didn't mute them because I can't handle it. I didn't even mean to mute them. I have no idea what's going on. Hold on.